The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Here we go. Talkin' Buds Leaf Show, episode 297. I am Rob, and coming at us from behind enemy lines in a hotel room in Montreal, he's Ryan.
Yeah, it truly is behind enemy lines. I was driving around Montreal yesterday trying to look for a belt for all the stupidest thing ever, but I threw on Montreal radio, and it's hilarious how much they just hate the Toronto Maple Leafs around here. They just hate them. And just listening to them talk, they were just clowning them the entire time. And it's like, how's Ivan Demidov doing? Oh yeah, he's golfing right now. Shut up.
You know what, buddy? I was thinking before we jumped on here, I wish I had the time and the patience, quite frankly, to go back through all of our episodes we did this season, because I bet no less than 10 times one of us said, this season is going to come down to a game 7 against somebody in this division. And sure enough, this season is coming down to a game 7 against somebody in this division after the Leafs pick up a huge W in Florida last night.
I guess in the moment, I'm like surprised they won that game because it just looks so bleak. But then if you step back and you look at the big picture, since this is kind of like the end of an era playoff, it's really not surprising that it's going 7 games against an Atlantic Division team that they just can't get over the hump against. So it really, in the grand scheme of things, it's not surprising, because if this era is going to end, it's going to end in a game 7 in the playoffs against an Atlantic Division team.
100%. Let's talk about the game a little bit. I got to say, I came away from it last night. I was pretty stoic watching it. I was pretty emotionless until the third period when Matthews scored that goal. It's so funny. I'm just sitting there and I'm like zen. My wife's looking at me. She's like, are you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just watching. I'm not getting too high, too low. And then as soon as Matthews got that goal, I was like, I started to feel the, oh shit, here we go. They can win this. Then Pacioretty, who's been fantastic for them all playoff long, makes it 2-0. And then I'm back in. I'm up. I'm pacing around my basement. I'm watching. I'm ducking. I'm covering my eyes. Just when you think you're out, they pull you right back in.
Yeah. When Pacioretty scored, I knew it was over. And it was nice to see Bobby McMahon finally make a nice skilled play for the first time this playoffs. But yeah, they were just surviving for 50 minutes of that game. Like they weren't awful. They weren't putting forth their worst effort, but they were getting kind of caved a lot of the time. And Florida was all over them. And then I don't know, Joe Woll played well. They just stayed in the game. And then Auston Matthews finally put one home. And then the whole complexion changes. And as soon as he scored that goal, it's like, hey, we're going to game 7.
I was really, really happy for him that he got that goal.
Yeah, me too.
He took heat from everybody, us included, and he deserved it. Like he hadn't performed on the score sheet as well as we would have wanted him to so far. And I was thrilled that he was the one that got that goal and sort of led his team.
Well, it's so annoying because he's a great player, and it's like great players are supposed to score great goals in big moments, and he's just like has never done that. And it's like, why? How have you not broken through at all? Like all the playoff stats of like scoring 3 goals in his last 21 playoff games. It's like, how are you supposed to be a great player if that's what you're producing? And it's probably wearing on him mentally. And I was just happy. And it was a classic like Auston Matthews goal too. It wasn't like, oh, he's got to bang in a dirty one. It's like, no, he was around the faceoff dot and he fired it 5-hole, which by the way, a couple nights ago, I suggested him doing that instead of trying to go glove. And then he fires it right through the 5-hole. And it's like, there you go. There's your goal. And let's build off that.
Let's talk a bit about Joe Woll in elimination games. You were like, go and check his stats in elimination games.
Elimination game Joe Woll.
He was spectacular.
Yeah, he was
spectacular.
Yeah.
I feel emotionally connected to Joe Woll because of my take that I've been getting ripped on since round
Yeah, you're
one.
stuck
I was
with
like,
him now.
I'm stuck with him now. And there is no one who is more emotionally invested in Joe Woll watching these games than me. No one.
Well, it's an interesting narrative too, because it's like he's finally getting his game set, unless he slips in the shower within the next 48 hours. Knock on wood, but he's getting his game 7 redemption story almost from last season when he just disappeared, never got the opportunity to finish what he started. So this is a whole other side narrative for me. Is Joe Woll finally gets to play in his game 7. And his elimination game stats, I think they threw it up. He's got like a 950 save. He's basically lets in like 1 max 2 goals a game in elimination games. And I thought last night he wasn't spectacular. He didn't have to stand on his head and do backflips, but he was pretty shut down from the drop of the puck.
He's someone that I always say this about Willie, that you can tell in the first few shifts what version of Willie you're going to get. I feel it's the same with him. You can tell in the first 10 minutes where he's at. If he's swimming around his crease, if he's out chasing pucks around the net, if he's just doing those sorts of things where he looks you can tell when he doesn't look dialed. And last night he was in his crease. He was challenging guys. He was locked in. He was making the saves. He had good rebound control. He was stopping everything. He was seeing everything. He's just one of those guys. Like right away, you're like, okay, well, if they lose this game tonight, it's not going to be because Joe Woll lets in a few stinkers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was just solid from the drop of the puck, and they didn't like give up a lot either. Like actually, even though they were getting caved a lot of the time, I thought throughout the game, I thought for the most part they did limit grade A scoring chances.
Yeah, agreed.
Like
I thought they collapsed
up a whole lot. Yeah, I thought they were pretty decent in that sense.
And I think that's something Berube's been preaching about. You know, if we're having a difficult time scoring on Bobrovsky, we can't get away from our structure defensively and start cheating. Because that's one of the things that you noticed in game 4 and definitely in game 5 is everybody's blowing they do the thing, the default setting. Everybody's blowing the zone and trying to cheat for offense and go the other way. And it's like, no, get back, collapse, get in your position, sticks in lanes, all that kind of stuff. And I think if you're Berube, that's what you're preaching after that game. You're saying, listen, we did really well defensively tonight and Joe Woll got a shutout. And all we got to do is keep focused on that and then wait for our chance and bury our chance.
Yeah.
Like that is the recipe. We're going to talk towards the end here about what the recipe needs to be to win on Sunday night. But to me, that's one of the pillars of it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's I like the way he describes it, because sometimes I think we have this image of them just like always breaking the puck out like so clean. And so many times this series, he said like it's not going to be clean. Like it's like you're just going to have to win board battles and chip pucks out. And then once you do that, you have to win a puck battle. Like it's never just going to be like, obviously there's going to be clean breakouts for the entire game, but a lot of the times the way they forecheck is like you're going to have to win a puck battle and get the puck out. Like, or you're going to have to get in lanes. Like it's not going to be clean. You got to work extremely hard against this team, and it's going to be ugly, but you just have to win battles.
Because that's them. You and I were texting about it during the game last night, just how hard the Florida Panthers work.
Let me just take a side note for the Florida Panthers. Like I've never seen a hockey team work harder to get pucks than them ever. Like they just are relentless. There's always a stick on like in front of you. Always. Like look at them when the Leafs get the offensive zone and they try to like make a play. There's 3 Panthers on top of you nonstop with a stick right in front of you. And it's like, if you come out against the Panthers and you're not 100% committed to winning every single stick battle and board battle, like you're not going to win. Like they are relentless.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I think everybody needs to be aware of, the officiating in this series has been really they're not calling this. Like you said last night to me, put the whistles away. That's not how these guys are operating. You got to be so careful in game 7 with taking the penalties, man. Like you got to be so careful. Like just be aware of where your stick is at all times, because these guys are calling it. Because there were a couple last night that they called that I thought were pretty like ticky tack, but that's the way these guys are operating.
Well, the problem with the officiating, It's like you call a stick in the hands, but then I'm watching some guy elbow another guy in the head after the whistle, and it's no call. So it's like, I understand the easy calls or like the stick in the hands, but I just hate how the arm goes up so quickly for that. But then some guy gets punched in the face after the whistle. Like, the only good call I've seen them make this entire series was the one they called on Ekblad last night, where he was going after Marner that shift, and then Marner kind of like goaded him into taking that penalty. It's like, that was the first time where the rest were actually watching how dirty of a player Aaron Ekblad is. And
he is the fucking worst, man. Everyone talks about Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk, that fucking juice head, Aaron Ekblad. I hate this guy. I hate him. This dude deliberately tries to hurt people. I hate him. Dude, I gotta say, we've been pretty reserved for the first 10 minutes of this. God, I want this game so badly on Sunday. I want it so badly. I hate this fucking team. I hate them. You have the chance. I said on our last episode, I'm not going to get caught up in this narrative, but I'm sorry, I'm saying it. Screw it. Everyone will forget Game 5 if somehow you're able to go out on Sunday night and squeak out a win and go to the conference final against a very beatable Carolina Hurricanes team. Very beatable. Like, come on, fellas. Dig deep. Make the plays. Joe Woll, make the saves. Capitalize on your chances. Let's bury this fucking team. Let's bury this fucking team. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's really... I love how Aaron Ekblad just got nailed for juicing, so now it's just low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, it is.
Every time you call him a juice head.
It's
so funny, because it's like, you are.
You are a juice head. Yeah. You are a juice head. And then the guys on Kipper and Bourne were laughing leading into the series because Paul Maurice was like, Aaron Ekblad is in impeccable shape. Yeah, I wonder why, Paul. Like, come on.
Peptides, anyone?
Yeah.
TRT?
Break. You got to be careful taking an elbow from that guy. It's like a loaded. You know how Logan Paul has the loaded right hand in WWE? That's Aaron Ekblad's whole body. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fuck, that guy is dirty. The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays.
I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call.
Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Berube said last night after the game that Matt Knies is TBD for game 7. I would be surprised if he doesn't play. If you're him, you're like, absolutely not. Am I sitting out of this game? But he was, I don't know if it was a back or if it was a foot or a knee or something, but
hip or like,
he was he was locked up after that and he could barely move. He did take shifts and he stayed on the bench, but there was a clip of him saying to the trainer, I can't move it. So I don't know what could that, man, like that is the list of guys being injured, like Stolars and then Knies is two of the highest guys on that list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just going to happen in the playoffs. Like that's what's annoying, but it kind of looks like that's what Matthew Tkachuk is dealing with a little bit. Because like you watch him play and he's not even close to the same player he's been in the past. And he also looks like kind of immobile. And whenever you see him do anything, he's stationary on the wall in the offensive zone. And it looks like he can't really move his hips or his lower body very well either. So, I mean, it's the playoffs. People are going to get banged up. But yeah, that's not the ideal guy you want banged up.
Yeah, 100%. How are we feeling after just, it's so weird and it's very Leafy. We all did the post-mortem.
Yeah.
After Wednesday night, we all did it. And everyone was ready to bury these guys and move on. And we were ready to move on. And we've seen enough. And then it's so funny how if they find a way to win on Sunday night, they're in the conference final. And you and I have sat here all year and said, they're exactly where you and I debated this year. We were like, anything less than a conference final at this point is disappointing. And then we'd go, well, what if they make it to game 7 of the second round against the Florida Panthers and they play their hearts out and they lose? It's like they're exactly where they are, where we said, easy for me to say, where we said they were going to be all through the season.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know, when you think about it, it's hard to, there's two sides of it. Like there's one where it's just like, you're just like flat out, like this isn't good enough. Like you're supposed to be a cup contending team. Like, and you can't get out of your division. Like it's been 8 years and you can't get out of your division. And that's so like, it's not good enough. And then I'm not going to be happy if they lose game 7, but then also there's the other side.
Look who they're playing.
It's like, they're playing the best team in the league right now.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a tougher matchup than this. Like,
no.
Even if they win, there's still a chance they can go and like lose to another team. But in terms of like playoff hockey, like this is the toughest team
100%.
played.
That's why it's so important, Ryan. Like I'm not going to sit here and write off the Carolina Hurricanes. The Carolina Hurricanes just suffocated and dispatched the Washington Capitals in 5 games. Like Carolina Hurricanes are no joke. But in terms of like punishing playoff hockey, it won't even be close to what they're dealing with right now. Not even close.
I think the Carolina Hurricanes can suffocate you just as much as the Florida Panthers, but they don't have the Aaron Ekblad elbow to the head.
Yeah.
Like they're not dirty. Like they'll just outwork you and they'll hit you and they'll be annoying, but they don't have that dirty ick factor that the Florida Panthers have.
Yeah, 100%. So it's kind of like, come on, fellas. Like, you literally, I think at the end of this season, whatever happens here, we're going to see change regardless, because I do think Mitch Marner is leaving. I think that's happening. And whatever happens with Tavares and all that stuff. But you just, the book that's being written on the core 4 will not have such a sour ending if you're able to win this game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like you win this game on Sunday. Like how many, you're just going into it and you're like, God, we've been here so many times in a game 7. And like last year against Boston, they went to OT in game 7. It was right there for them, right? It's like, we've been here so many times, fellas. Like just once, please, let's get over the hump.
And it just never works out for them. That's
let's win.
Yeah. And it sucks because it just never works out for them. Like last year, they could have won that series, but then you like look back on it, it's like they had some injuries and you had Samsonov in there, even though he did play pretty well in game 7. And then I look at years past and there's been like shortcomings if you really dissect it. And then this year, it's like, yeah, they have a great team, but they're also playing like the best team I've ever seen in the playoffs.
Yep.
So
yes.
I mean, it's just like there's always odds stacked up against them. There's always going to be obstacles, but it's just, you watch it's like they got to break through. Every year, it's like they got to break through eventually. Like they got to slay the demon. Game 7. It's like, how many game 7s? It's like anything. It's like anything that's up to chance. How often can you play something and just keep losing and losing before you actually win? You know, like eventually, if you play it enough times, play game 7 enough times, you're going to have to win. Like you're going to win 1.
Yeah, I know.
Won 1. Like,
yeah, they have. Well, it's funny. I saw a stat the other day that it's not as common as you think. I saw a stat the other day about Ovi where outside of the year they won the cup, he's never been out of the second round.
Yeah.
So it's like, could this be the year? I'm not saying they're going to go on and win the cup, but to your point, it's like, how many times do we end up in this situation in a game 7 and lose? Like, come on. Every time.
And honestly, I don't know if we want to really get into it at this moment, but that's why I don't really feel confident. Like I mean, it's just, to me, it's setting up for if I'm just going to have to take my switch off to positive and go to more of a negative tone now, unfortunately. But that's another reason why I don't have a lot of confidence if I'm looking at it in a certain lens. It's just like if this era is going to end, it's going to end in the same painful way it ends every single time. And that's them just losing. They're not going to get smoked. It's going to be a tight game, but they're going to lose game 7 the same way they lose game 7 every time. The scoring's just going to dry up because the scoring has dried up in this series. And they're going to fight. I think they're going to fight hard, but they're going to like fall a little short because that's just what they do every single time they play this game. So, I mean, a part of me just like isn't feeling confident just thinking about everything that happens in these game 7s.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but you can tell all the things that are said about these guys really bothers them. And I've been thinking after what happened on Wednesday night, I've been thinking about our season end podcast and just all the things we want to talk about and discuss and how it'll really be a big one because it's the end of the era, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the things I wanted to hit on was I think just the accumulation of all these years of disappointment has really weighed on these guys mentally. I mentioned it after game 5 about how Auston Matthews, like he just looks upset when he's out there. Like he looks like he's like, what is going on? Like he really has that look on his face. And you laid the biggest egg you ever have in game 5. The most disappointing playoff performance in Toronto Maple Leaf history, game 5. You have a chance to no one will ever care about that or reference that again if somehow you are able to win this game on Sunday. And for the love of God, fellas, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. You will, how many times have I said this? Pick a Maple Leaf legend. Matt Sundin. Furthest he ever went in a Leaf uni, conference final. Doug Gilmour and Wendell. Furthest they ever went in a Leaf uni, conference final.
Yep.
Curtis Joseph. Same thing. This is as far as all these people that we revere here so much have ever gone. And I truly believe that if you can find a way to win on Sunday night, barring going into the next round and getting swept by Carolina, which I don't think is going to happen.
No, me either.
It all fades away. It all fades away. And if Marner in a couple weeks says, you know what, I'm out of here, I think people's mentality will be, all right, Mitch, you do you. Thanks for everything. Was a great run last year. Off you go. Whereas 2 days ago, it was, are you fucking serious? You're going to block a trade for Mikko Rantanen, and to the end of the year, you're going to go, all right, anyways, I'm out of here. Like, I think this whole narrative and whole perspective, the whole thing, Ryan, shifts and fades away if they can find a way to win on Sunday. And if they don't, it's what you said. It's, well, this is who they are. It comes down in the big moments. They can't get it done. And that's the story of the Core 4 era. And Brendan Shanahan's packing up his office. And this is how it goes.
Yeah. Well, how could it not wear on them eventually? Like, if anything in life, if you keep trying and trying and keep failing and failing the same way, you're going to get discouraged. And especially if millions of people are watching you do it every single time. Like, of course it's going to wear on you. And it's funny how the last time the Leafs were in a conference final, they were playing the Carolina Hurricanes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if we'll keep moving the goalposts. Like, I think the fact that they're going to beat. What makes this maybe different is the fact that if they do win, they're beating the defending Stanley Cup champions. It's not like a team they should beat. It's like, no, this team is probably a better team than you are, and if you do beat them in a playoff series, that's a big deal. But I wonder if we go to the next round and they lose in 4 straight games, if it's just kind of like that all gets washed away. So I don't know how much it's going to affect the legacy, like overall, depending what happens. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man.
I think it drastically alters it, and it's not nearly as negative.
Yeah,
not nearly as negative. And like I said, the vitriol is not as intense as it was on Wednesday night, without question.
Yeah,
I think in terms of the lineup Berube's going to ice, it's going to be the same one as last night. I think that's the one he likes the best. I think that's the one that he feels plays the best in the defensive zone. One guy I want to give credit to, Max Domi. I thought he was excellent last night. I thought he made a couple great plays in his own end, which you don't see him do that often. And then he helped facilitate the McMahon Pacioretty goal. This guy took a shitload of heat after Wednesday with just all the penalties he's been taking in the playoffs. Ruby got outright asked on Wednesday night, how do you continue to dress this guy if he keeps hurting your team with taking stupid penalties? And I thought he played really, really well last night.
Yeah, no, I thought that line was pretty good. I actually thought Scotty Lawton played really well last night, too.
Dude, that guy's a fucking warrior. That guy can be on my hockey team any day of the week. I don't give a shit how many goals he has or doesn't have. That guy is balls out every single shift. Can we also give a little round of applause to Simone Benoit? Oh, another guy.
Is this guy their best defenseman? Like,
playing his heart out. Drops Brad Marchand.
Yeah, that's the first time a Maple Leaf has gotten a extremely good lick on that guy in 5 playoff series. He drilled him. It's like that was a beautiful hit. Man, this guy is what a player, man. This guy, I love him.
One thing that I think we should keep an eye on is there's a play. I shared it on my Twitter account a few minutes ago. Domi's taking the puck to the net. And Sam Bennett literally comes in with a flying elbow.
Is that when Bobrovsky hit his head off the crossbar?
Domi hits Bobrovsky. Sam Bennett is in such a rush to cheap shot Max Domi that he misses him, smokes Bobrovsky in the head, whose head goes back and hits the crossbar, and his mask falls off. So that's something to keep an eye on with Bob. And that's another thing. Healthy or not healthy, but I think Bob is going to turn out another great game on Sunday night. So you just got to capitalize on your chances.
Yeah, everyone who's throwing the narrative like Bob's back, it's like, I don't think Bob's been anything this series.
Yeah.
I think the games where they haven't scored has just been a lack of chances and just not enough to the net. I don't think Bob's been special this series. I think he's been pretty ordinary, to be honest with you.
Last thing before we get out of here, I think I just want to touch a little bit more on Max Pacioretty and what he has meant to this team in the playoffs. Big goals and a guy who just clutch moments, right place, right time, brought him in on a fucking PTO in training camp, sat him for the bulk of after the Four Nations. He barely played. And he's just come back at people up in arms, losing it when they took Nick Robertson out of the Ottawa series and brought Max Pacioretty in. And this dude has been rock solid for them. And he's the type of guy where if you look ahead to Sunday night and you're like, if someone's going to score a big goal for them, he's pretty high on that list.
Yeah, and this is like one of his. You could tell how much fun he's having playing, and even his post game scrum where he's like, "It's going to be a war." Because who knows how many opportunities he has in this playing this type of hockey. I think his play in this playoffs probably earned him another job somewhere else next season, 100%. Yeah, it's a guy who's just like, I don't really have a lot of runs left in me, so but for the most part. He's just physical and he scored big goals. He's not like a dominant, but he's just doing all the right things. And if he's scoring big goals at big times, and that's all he can do.
All right, buddy.
I have one question for you. I have one question for you that's non-Leaf related.
Okay.
I want to know why John Klingberg, who, if he dressed as a Maple Leaf and played a minute for this team, would be an absolute disaster. Everyone would be freaking out. Everyone would hate his guts. How does he go to Edmonton? He hasn't played hockey in 2 years. Go there, all of a sudden he's their number one defenseman. I don't get it.
Also, did you see who got the gutsiest OT winner I've ever seen in my life the other night?
Kapanen.
Ryan, I think I've talked. This is a conversation for another time, but I've said it once. I've said it 100 times. Your best players set the tone for what is expected of you on a shift-to-shift basis, and those two guys set that tone. You need to bring your best every single night. Look no further than that clip of McDavid in the Stanley Cup Finals last year, screaming, "This is the finals. Get it together right fucking now." though those guys are the definition of a rising tide lifts all boats. You just get that orange and blue jersey on, and their magic just
they got the special
penetrates
sauce,
you,
man.
dude. They had a pretty mediocre season. Okay,
Yeah.
I was ready to bury them. I was like, McDavid and Draisaitl aren't healthy. They're burnt out. They played a lot of hockey, 4 nations for this. They have cruise controlled to the Western Conference Final. Cruise control.
The thing is like McDavid and Draisaitl weren't even like huge factors in the second round. It's
But
like
they
you're getting
set the
all these
tone, Ryan.
performances from like these fucking nobodies. It's just this is an off-season conversation, but it's just like it's amazing how they've turned. Like some guys haven't worked out, but like you look at Cody Ceci, the way he was talked about after he was like gone from Edmonton, everyone was like, they really miss Cody Ceci. He couldn't play a fucking minute in a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform. John Klingberg, 0% chance this guy was ever getting back in the lineup. And if he did, everyone would have freaked out. And all of a sudden Whitney's posting on Spit and Chicklets being like, unbelievable, John Klingberg. It's like, the hell is
You're doing your best Whitney impression today with the way you're holding your microphone.
Yeah, and then they have Connor Brown and Kasperi Kapanen, and it's just like, this team just has the special, and their goaltending is just like now Stu Skinner's back in, and
dude, Stu Skinner, everyone's ready to bury Stu Skinner. He comes back, gets back-to-back shutouts, and they just with the Vegas Golden Knights are
teams.
Yes, they're right. And guess what? I don't give a shit who wins the Dallas or Winnipeg series. They ain't beating the Edmonton Oilers. I can tell you that much. It's not happening.
Yeah, people are like, give the cup to Dallas. It's like, I don't know, man.
No, I do not think. Yes, I do not think so.
They're such a. I would love to dissect their like team. They have such an interesting team. You just look at them and you're like, yeah, they got the 2 best players in the world, but like they're not that great. But I think, like I said, man.
There's an expectation that those guys have for everyone in that room, no matter how good you are, what your background is, like how shit you were in another organization. It doesn't matter. You put that orange and blue sweater on, and these guys are like, this is what happens here, and follow our lead. I truly believe that. Dude, it's the same thing with Florida. Florida, like obviously they don't have the high end skill of a Draisaitl or a McDavid, but like their best guys set the tone. So you could take like if you took Evan Rodriguez and put him someplace else, he's just another guy in that. But you put him out there in a Florida uniform and he's a little rat bastard. Like that's it's true. It's just it's all culture, and like I said, there's the Leaf perspective of this is for another time, and it's not important right now because right now they got a Game 7 to go and try and win on Sunday night. Here we go again, another Game 7 against an Atlantic Division opponent, do or die. Ryan and I will be back after Game 7. I can't fucking believe we're gonna have another Game 7 podcast. Listen, whoever does Leaf content and doesn't admit that when the Leafs trip up, it's not good for everyone involved. Our last episode was by far our most viewed of the playoffs. Tons of new subscribers. That's just the way it goes when you're making Leaf content. So if you'd like to join us for Game 7, or after Game 7, I should say, hit the like and subscribe button below. If you're listening to the audio version, please do the same.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
We really appreciate it. We will see you guys after Game 7.